Johann was a forester, and he came to a 2-day workshop that was attended by other foresters in Germany. And it was a really good workshop. I was leading it, and we had our coordinator from Germany and the Netherlands there. And at the end of the workshop, Johann told Anna Mikey, who's our coordinator, Sharing Nature coordinator in the Netherlands, that he said, because she was just talking to people afterwards, she said that, well, he had said, well, before I came to the workshop, I thought of the forest as the way I was trained in university. I just saw the trees as a commodity, just to be used. That's the way I was taught. And then after playing the Sharing Nature games, I learned that the grasses were my friends, the shrubs were my friends, the trees were my friends, and all of nature was my friend. And I thought about all the different things that he did. He met a tree. He interviewed an old tree. He did a precursor to the forest bathing activity. He did the tree imagery, going through the seasons of the year as a tree. He built a tree, and he did all these experiences in learning about trees. And he was using all these different faculties of himself. He was using his intuition, his reasoning, his kinesthetic sense, the quality of love, all these many things. And he was using all the different faculties of himself. And so his understanding of trees was greatly nuanced, because he was experiencing a tree through all these different faculties. So he had a greater appreciation of trees, but also he had a greater appreciation for himself, in the sense of that he was developing all these qualities in himself. And of course that helped him to resonate even much more with the idea of connecting with trees and with nature, because his whole being was benefited. And play activates the whole person. Often if we're just talking to people, people pick up on it, and they pick up on our energy. But when somebody is speaking from a high level of consciousness, and that inspires people, that their energy is moving to the higher part of themselves, as where the speaker is too. So you can teach vibrationally, and it can really help people. But sometimes people are afraid of some philosophy or that. But when they can have an experience and develop these different parts of themselves, it becomes that much more stronger for themselves. And their whole being is benefited. There was a very interesting thing I heard. I think it was a Swedish children's society, an organization like that. They found that children that didn't have any imagination, they would get into a situation where if somebody confronted them, they knew of only one response. And can you guess what that response was? Pow! Strike back. But children that had imagination, that developed different faculties of themselves, of being and relating to life, they were very imaginative in terms of different scenarios. They didn't have to strike back if they were confronted. And they could be very creative in solving the situation. But you see this, people that are just reactive, and that's sort of the typical response. Or you see somebody who's more nuanced and has a broader view of life, and they can be more creative in the way that they respond. And so people, they want people to know the information in school and all this kind of stuff, but there's all this other stuff that's going on. It's just so important. And play, because Sharing Nature specifically, it just brings out so many different aspects of people, just so many different levels, and it's kind of capturing all of them, and so and I think I didn't. I just created different things, and then once I sort of saw them all, somebody goes, "Well, Sarah Nature teaches all the modalities," kind of after you have all these activities, but it's true, and people that just see things on a reasoning level, like the forester, our view of life can be materialistic. Like he just saw trees as something to be used, and something of economic value. And that was it. But when you feel identified with something, and you have a real deep appreciation for all its different aspects, you see that it's alive just as we're alive. And there's a sense of mutual aliveness that we have. And so this is when people are just really one-dimensional in their teaching, then they just create one-dimensional learners or people, and that's it, and they're cut off from the rest of themselves and the rest of everything else around them.